بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم
Assalamu alaikum. Today it is Thursday, the 3rd of November 2022, and in our series Reflections on the Holy Quran, this is broadcast number 370. And we are discussing the significance, the meanings of the words of chapter 2, Al-Baqarah, verse 105 these days. And this is the 9th broadcast in that series. These broadcasts are brought to you by Laser, the Lahore Ahmadiyya School of Education in Religion, which is a branch of the Ahmadiyya Association for Propagation of Islam, also known as the Lahore Ahmadiyya Movement. The Ahmadiyya movement was established by Hazrat Mirza Ghulam Ahmad Sahib, who taught that although other people say that after the Holy Prophet Muhammad, another prophet can come, this is untrue, because the Holy Quran says about the Holy Prophet that he was Khatamun Nabiyyin, and the Holy Prophet explained it further by saying, La Nabiyya Ba'di, there is no prophet after me. So now there can not be any prophet, old or new. Hazrat Mirza Ghulam Ahmad Rahmatullah Alayh claimed to be a mujaddid in a chain of mujaddids, in accordance with the hadith of the Holy Prophet, that now prophets cannot come, but God will send mujaddids when Ummah needs guidance. And he further said that the hadith speaks of the Messiah and Mahdi, but these are not two different people, but rather they are the attributes, the characteristics which apply to one of the Mujaddideen, and the Mujaddid to whom these apply, he claimed, was he. This is why we say Hazrat Mirza Ghulam Ahmad, the promised Messiah and Mahdi. He also taught that it is, Muslims hasten to call each other heretics and kafirs and so on. But the Holy Prophet had said that if one reciter of the kalima says to another reciter of the kalima, you are a heretic, it is the person saying it upon whom falls this edict of heresy. Hazrat Mirza Ghulam Ahmad also taught that people say that some prophetic revelation like Ayah Rajam and Surah Walai are missing from the Holy Quran. This is incorrect. Nothing, no prophetic revelation is missing from the Holy Quran. And he taught that although other people say that some verses which are in the Holy Quran, the commands are abrogated. Like Hazrat Shah Waliullah, he said that people say that more than 500 verses of the Holy Quran are abrogated. But he said, I have conducted research and it's only 7 verses which are abrogated. But we believe, and Hazrat Mirza Ghulam Ahmad Sahib Rahmatullah Alayhi taught this, that no verse of the Holy Quran is abrogated. And he taught that jihad was a fundamental duty of every Muslim, and every Muslim should be conducting jihad 24 hours a day, in line with the hadith of the Holy Prophet, which said, while returning from fighting, that Muslims were returning from the minor jihad back to the major jihad, Jihad-e-Kabir, and said that jihad bin nafs, the struggle with your own soul, is the biggest jihad. So let us turn to the Holy Quran and the verse that we are discussing. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم ما يود الذين كفروا من أهل الكتاب ولا المشركين أن ينزل عليكم من خير من ربكم والله يختص برحمته من يشاء والله ذو الفضل العظيم. Neither those who disbelieve from among the people of the book, nor the polytheists, like that any good should be sent down to you from your Lord. And Allah chooses whom He pleases for His mercy. And Allah is the Lord of mighty grace. So, the word, let me share this verse with you. The word we are going to discuss today is Yakhtathu. So let me load my notes on the computer. Sorry, during the Urdu broadcast, the pages get muddled. Okay. The root of this word is ha, fad, fad. And it occurs in the Holy Quran only 4 times, but in 3 forms. One form, which I just recited, Wallahu Yakhtathu bi rahmati. And that means choosing, separating. Also the noun khas, special, and khathatha, which means poverty. So let us see what these words, what the meaning, different meanings of these words, how they come about, and so on. Its basic meaning is uh, a whole. A whole, or something that splits two things or the same thing. So obviously, if you have a wall and in the middle of the wall there is a hole because some bricks have got knocked out for some reason, it's obvious that that wall is now weakened. And it's now defective. It now has a defect. But where bricks should be, there is nothing. There's a hole, making it weak. So what does the wall need? It needs some bricks to fill that hole. And that is why this word is used for need in Arabic. And something is needed, or the lack of something that makes something weak. This is why this word is also used for poverty, because the lack of finances, lack of money, makes the person who lacks money weak. These days we hear about cost of living crisis and how people are going to have difficulty making ends meet and so on, especially poor people, especially people without extensive means. So you can see that lack of finances means that they'll have this difficulty. This is why this word is used for poverty. But there's another way to look at it, which is that when you separate two things and there's a gap between them, then you have separated them, and it may be that one part you're going to give a different treatment. Let's go back to the example of the wall. There's a hole in the wall, and you decide that the wall above the hole needs to be knocked down and rebuilt. So can you see? You've separated two things and you've subjected them to different treatment. The top bit you're going to knock down and replace. The bottom bit you're going to keep. And, so you're giving it a kind of special treatment. So if it's human beings, khas is a word of Urdu. It's the opposite of arm. Khas means something that is special. If you have a school teacher, and he's got a class, and he says, okay, all the students who get, I don't know, above a B or something in this test, they are going to get special tuition to make sure that they can, in the main exam, in the final exam, they can all get A's or A stars or A pluses or whatever. Now you've separated that group of students into two. And you said if all those who possess this characteristics, they'll get special treatment. They'll get extra tuition to get a higher grade in the final exam. And if we look at this verse of the Holy Quran, this is what God says. God says, it's up to me. Whoever I want to, I select, I choose, I separate from others to receive my blessings. So, of course, as soon as someone says blessings to you and me, we immediately think of, I don't know, winning the lottery and getting £100 million on the lottery or whatever else. But here, God doesn't mean that. God means that they'll be treated specially because they will get God's guidance, which they'll then pass on to humanity. So from all the ordinary people, everyone else, God has selected one person and bestowed his message upon this person. Now, obviously, you can't get that through your own efforts. It's not like, your exam is coming up and if you don't do so much revision, you won't get a good grade. But if you do lots and lots of revision, you will get a higher grade, etc. It's not that. It's up to God, and he selects a person to receive his message. So you won't get it. You won't get guidance from God. You won't get wahi from God just because you want it, etc., etc. Now, the Holy Quran speaks of Moses' mother receiving God's revelation. And the word used is Ohiyina, God's revelation. She received revelation from God. So that means it's not only the prophets whom God selects to speak to, but also other people, ordinary people. The distinction between a prophet and his revelation and a non-prophet is that the prophet receives guidance, instructions to give to other people, guide them how they're supposed to live. That's the distinction between the revelation that prophets receive and revelation that others receive. Other people are duty bound to follow the revelation, prophetic revelation received by a prophet. But others are not. Other people receive a revelation about something and people are not bound to follow them. I gave you an example, mother of Moses, that God says in the Holy Quran that she received revelation. The word revelation, wahi, is used. But not only ordinary revelation like putting an idea into someone's head and inspiring someone, etc. But non-prophets can also receive angels. The story of Mary. The Holy Quran says, when the angel went to Mary after assuming the form of a man, or in the form of a man, the angel said to Mary, "You'll have a son." And Mary said, "How is that possible?" etc. And the angel then said, "Well, once God has decided, all he has to say is be," and it happens. So here, an angel has brought God's instructions, God's guidance to Mary. And then the angel said to him, do this, and so on and so forth. So, there are some people who say, well, revelation used to come down, and because the Holy Prophet was the last prophet, now no revelation can come down. This is incorrect. This is incorrect. Non-prophets can receive non-prophetic revelation called Wahi Balayat. The Holy Quran talks about prophethood coming to an end. The Holy Prophet was Khatamun Nabiyyin. The Holy Prophet said that after me there is no prophet. La Nabiyya Ba'di. So if there is no prophet, prophetic revelation cannot come down because it only comes down to a prophet. But non-prophets, nowhere in the Holy Quran or anywhere is it said that God does not speak to non-prophets. God answers everyone's prayers. It may actually be answered in a voice, or it may be answered by putting an idea into someone's head. It may be answered by Allah solving some problem you have. And this has happened to many, many people that I know personally, that God spoke to them and they were given information that they couldn't have received in any other way apart from a supernatural manner, that God had put this idea into their head. My maternal grandmother was very ill, and we went to visit her. And she said to my mom, "Can you come early tomorrow?" And my mom said, "Yes. Is there any special reason?" And she said, "I have been told that the time of my death has been fixed." Now, who would tell her that the time of her death has been fixed? And she said, "I want to see you one last time and say goodbye." So we all thought maybe she's depressed and ill and so on and saying this. But anyway, we turned up early. And I still remember going into her room, and her eyes were on the door as if she was waiting for someone. And she raised her hand, and my mother went and grabbed her hand. And then my grandmother passed away. Now, who told her? And that was at the exact time that she had said the night before that she was going to die. Now, who told her? But even more amazing than that was the fact that my father left the room to inform people that she had passed away. while my mother sorted out other things with the medical staff and so on. He was the first person to leave that room. And he got to the door of the hospital, and there was a lady coming in who knew our grandmother. And she said, "Has she passed away?" And my father was amazed, and he said, "How do you know? I'm the first person to leave her room. You live miles away. How do you know?" And she said, after Fajr time, after Fajr prayers, she lay down, and my grandmother went to her and said, "My time has come. Go and help my family with the arrangements and everything." How did this lady know the time at which my grandmother was going to pass away? And people still say, "Well, God doesn't speak to man." Well, humans. And this is the thing. I believe in this because there have been instances in our family's life, in my life, where I've seen this happen. So how can I deny what has been happening, what I've been seeing with my own eyes? But certainly, prophethood has come to an end. Prophetic revelation has come to an end. But that does not mean that God has abandoned humanity. With that, I take my leave of you. Tomorrow we have Friday, so at 1 o'clock we will broadcast Friday service and Friday prayers, etc. Until then, with the prayer that whoever you are and wherever you may be, may Allah keep the whole of humanity safe and sound and free from harm. I take my leave of you. Assalamu alaikum, Khuda Hafiz, and goodbye.